Hello everyone, today I'm going to show you my top 5 liquid foundations, and I want to stress that these are just my liquid foundations. I'm going to do a top 5 overall foundations, cream, liquid, all that stuff later on, probably sometime next month. But today I'm just going to show you my top 5 liquid foundations. And with a liquid foundation, I always use my Beauty Blender sponge. Now this is the older Beauty Blender sponge. The newer ones are slightly brighter pink and they have a more spongy texture. This is a very dense, firm sponge. The newer ones, the other one is in the wash right now, so I don't have it to show you, but it's a little softer for some reason. I don't know if it's because they're trying to reduce quality and keep the prices the same, but I really do prefer my older sponge. But the Beauty Blender, regardless of whether you have the old one or the new one, they're really wonderful. You can buy them online at Sephora, and the new one I bought at Duane Reade Pharmacy when I was in New York City. So as much as I love my foundation brushes, I still love my Beauty Blender to smooth out and really give a natural finish to my foundation. Now I don't use these for cream foundations, this is just for liquid formulas. So we'll start with my favorite liquid formula, which is the Lancome Taut Itll Ultra 24 Hour Wear. This is their new reformulated version and I absolutely adore the versatility and coverage. You can use 1 pump for medium coverage, 2 pumps for full. It lasts all day and it has an SPF of 15, but from what I can tell right now, it doesn't flash back in photos. I'm not the kind of person that takes a lot of pictures of myself, so I can't tell you for sure, but later on I will let you guys know how I feel about that. But the reason why this foundation is so awesome is because it's transfer free. There's no waterproof foundation. Water resistant is as good of a claim as you can get, but this is transfer free. You won't get it on your hands or on other people after it sets, and I find that I don't necessarily have to use a powder with this. It's nice because it does keep the oil down, but overall I do love it, and I have it in 250 Bis, which is a warm shade. W, N, and C stand for warm, neutral, and cool. So if you're pink toned, you're cool. If you're somewhere in the middle, you're neutral. And if you are yellow toned like me, then you would use a W foundation. Currently, I'm just a touch darker than NC25, but I'm pretty much close to it. I usually waver anywhere from NC25 to NC35. That's how much my shade range jumps when I get tan in the summer. And speaking of summer, now for my summer foundations, my favorite foundation to wear when it is hot and humid and I'm gonna sweat easily is the Taut Resist Long Wearing Endless Comfort Transfer Resistant Foundation. And this one's oil free. All of these foundations are oil free, by the way. And this one has an SPF of 10, so I do have to wear sunscreen underneath. I like the Dior Snow, La Mer, and the Chanel sunscreens. So this one is in shade number 6, which is again a warm shade. Also, all of the foundations I use come with a pump. I really dislike foundations in tubs. I just feel it's a little unsanitary and it's harder to travel with. But the Taut Resist has very sheer coverage. It's a truly sheer foundation. It's hard to build it up or else it looks a little cakey or a little too much. But overall, I think this is, for combination skin anyway, the best summer foundation. I also don't like much coverage in the summer. It just looks a little bit like overkill in my opinion. But that's just my personal preference. I know some women wear full coverage all year round, but if you are very oily, this isn't one of my personal top 5s, but the Immaculate Liquid Powder Foundation by Hourglass is great for oily skin. And my sister and I are going to review this later on together because she's very oily and I'm just combination. But for summer, if you are, or even all year round, if you're very oily, I highly recommend this. Oh, and actually one thing I want to mention about the Taut Resist is that even though it claims to be long wearing, it only wears about 6 hours on me. For a sheer foundation though, that is pretty good. So I think that's where they decided to claim that it was long wearing. Now for another long wearing foundation, as you can see this is a trend. I don't like to touch up my foundation or reapply it, so long wearing is very important to me. Perfection Lumiere by Chanel is one of my favorite Chanel foundations. I really do love the Vita Lumiere, which is reformulated to the moisture rich version. I hated the old one, but the Vita Lumiere, as much as I like it, it tends to have a lot of slip and it will make you look greasy at the end of the day. So because of that, Perfection Lumiere takes the cake. This is a long wearing flawless fluid makeup with SPF of 10, and I currently have this in 40. I can't wear it right now because I'm a little too light for it, but here's 40 beige. I love how this dries down powdery, but it warms up with the natural oils of your skin throughout the day, and it looks very luminous. So I much prefer this to Armani's Luminous Silk, which is way too luminous for me. It makes me look absolutely greasy and just disgusting at the end of the day. So if you have very dry skin, definitely check out Armani's Luminous Silk. It's a gorgeous foundation. Now for the foundation that I'm wearing today, Lasting Silk UV by Giorgio Armani. This is my favorite Giorgio Armani foundation. I recently purchased the designer lift, but I still prefer a Lasting Silk. And the reason for that is because my combination skin seems to like this better. It doesn't spread apart on me as much. So my order of preference would be Lasting Silk, Designer Lift, and then Luminous Silk. Designer Lift has this really cool blue pigment in the foundation, so it's great for those of you who are neutral, or if you are yellow toned but still don't want that sallow look by adding extra yellow to your skin. But I personally have had wearing issues with Designer Lift because it kind of separates on my face throughout the day. I have tried it with different primers and moisturizers, but I just feel like it's better for slightly drier skin as opposed to truly combination skin. But Lasting Silk is great for those of you who are combination to slightly oily. If you're very oily, this might not work for you, but it has an SPF of 20, the highest SPF, except it doesn't flash back in photos. And actually, this is probably as close to HD as it gets for Armani. A lot of news anchors really prefer this foundation. It's apparently the most popular with news anchors and TV hosts. So I can see why. It's just that the shade range is very limited for those with yellow tone skin. Most of them are very pink or neutral, and I use 6.5, but it's a little dark for me right now. This is probably in between NC25 and NC30. It's just a touch too dark. But overall, I do love this foundation, and it glides on really easily. All of these are very easy to apply, by the way. And now for my favorite HD foundation. This one is Hera HD in number 23. This is the darkest shade they make. And this is actually a Korean brand that my friend Kathy introduced me to. It also has a pump, and this is most compared to Makeup Forever HD. Makeup Forever HD is great for those who are slightly dry, and they have such a wide shade range. It's a really gorgeous foundation that spreads and blends easily. However, the Hera HD is that much better in terms of gliding on, and it actually wears a little better than the Makeup Forever HD. I get an extra hour out of this, plus it doesn't make me look as oily or greasy. The only thing is, if you are allergic to SPFs, which some people are, none of these foundations will work for you because they all have SPF. So if that is a problem for you, then I do recommend that you try Makeup Forever HD. Just make sure you use a primer and set with a powder to help the wear of the foundation. And that is it for my top 5 liquids. So if you really do need help getting a shade match, I recommend you go to the counters, pick up a foundation, pick up 2 or 3 different colors, and on your bare face, apply 3 strips to the skin, and then blend them out and see which matches your face best. You have to do this in full sun outside and take a large mirror. So that's the best way to know what foundation is correct for you. I know it was a really brief review, but all the foundations I mentioned are really wonderful and definitely worth the investment. If there's any place that you spend a lot of money when it comes to makeup, I highly recommend it be foundation, because with color, you can use whatever you like, and honestly, you can achieve a lot of the same looks with high-end products that you can with, budget products. And the last bit of foundation advice for maintaining your skin is try not to sleep, throughout the night with your makeup on. Really wash your face, and that will keep your pores clean, and it will keep breakouts away. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you all very soon, guys. Bye.